Our theme is Proverbs 69. In his heart, a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. Track and field in Milwaukee Lutheran, just to tell you a little bit, it's two teams. It's varsity and JV. There is not a freshman team, although this year we actually could support one. The meets go indoors. There's a scrimmage, and then every kid besides the scrimmage will participate in 1 to 3 indoor meets, depending on the level they run. And then outdoor, there are 5 to 9 meets, depending on the level you run. So over the course of the season, you're going to run somewhere between a scrimmage and then like 7 or 8, 9 meets, something like that. The season is 11 weeks long for JV. It's 13 for varsity. It is not a long sport. It comes and goes before you even know it's over. And that's one of the things that's kind of there. The level that you're going to be at will be at the level of your competition. And so the way you compete is where we put you. So we don't necessarily, if we don't have a varsity athlete in the 300 hurdles that's good enough to put on the track in a varsity meet, we won't just fill the event. And so your children have to earn that. That's part of what we do. But we will find meets they can perform in. Our meets go all different levels. And so they'll have those experiences. Coach Meineke is going to talk to you for a few seconds here about the events in track and field, because sometimes kids have a little bit of confusion on that.
Hi, Coach Meineke. Nice to officially be talking to you. So these indoor and outdoor events are pretty self-explanatory here. They're all listed out. Something I'd like to point out too is that the indoor is kind of a shortened version. Not every single event indoor is outdoor, and actually vice versa is true as well. Like the 55 dash and hurdles are not outdoor events. Indoor is a really short season here. We're one of the only states that I know that actually has an indoor season during their high school season. And it's pretty, I think there's 3 weeks indoor, including the conference meet. So by April, we'll be outdoor, and we'll be referring to that list as our list of events. Kids do numerous events at meet. Sometimes they only do 1, but usually they'll do 2 or more. So the maximum is 3. You can do 4 events, 3 either field and 1 running, or 3 running, 1 field, but hardly anyone ever does that.
What are you going to do? Which event are you going to do? Part of that's our job, to help you with that, gifts and talents. We do have a scrimmage the second Tuesday of the season. That when we get the calendar, I'll show you that. And so if your child really doesn't know what they want to do, they just want to be track and field athletes, we can help you with that. And some of that will involve watching what you do in practice. Some of that will involve the scrimmage, and we may give you some choices. What do you want to try? And you can try it and see if that's something that you got. So we'll continually do that. Sometimes that happens over years if your child commits to more than one. Events change as they go through because they see their gifts and talents in different places. So that's kind of exciting. The obvious ones are if you think you're a thrower, if you want to throw shot or disc, and that's something you want to do, especially training a little bit there. If you think you're going to run distance, something mile, 2 mile, half mile, you want to go in that range, which half mile is really distance, but it's called middle distance. If those are the kind of interests you have, you may early in the season break off. For the rest of you, if you just don't know, we have a group that we actually work out to begin to look for those other events, long jump, triple jump, high hurdles, all those kind of things. And so if they don't know, it's okay. And so when they come the first day, they're going to seem like it's nervous. Remember, our team, if it's 100 kids, about 55 of them will be brand new to the sport this year. And so that's something that they need to know. They're in the majority being new, not the minority. And so when they feel strange a little bit. If you turn over on page 2, things that you need to have. In the back, or I don't know where we put it now, we do have a list of all your athletes and what forms they need. If they don't know, if they've been out for a sport before at Milwaukee Lutheran, they have no forms that they need. The only form is the form I'm going to show you at the end that signs that says you were here for the meeting, and the other thing is you need to pay the $40 sports fee. That's it. If you haven't been out for a sport this year, then you need to talk to us, because then we need to make sure your forms are in. Because if your forms aren't in, you can't start. And you don't want to miss, since it's only 11 weeks long, you don't want to miss day 1, because you want to hit that right away and get going. So just that you've got that. Track and field eligibility, just a little bit, I'm going to speak to that. Mr. Kalo's talked about it already. We had the 6-week reports, so you're going to see some of those. If your child is fine, we're not going to talk to you at all about it because they're going to be fine. The next one comes in April, so make sure you continue to stay on their grades. We don't want surprises. We make commitments. It's a short season. We want to make sure that your kid is going to be there for the whole time. The kids are speaking to you directly through your work, because we do have a priority system in track and field. It goes God, family, school, track. Track is 4th. And even though you're going to love track and field, you can't do it unless you take care of the other 3. Okay, and parents, you can hear that clearly too when we talk later about excused absences. It goes God, family, school, track. And if you've got conflicts there, the other 3 are what we excuse for. And so make sure that you hear that loud and clear. Track is not more important than those. So those are on there, you can see that. Just make sure you're working to pass your classes, and even though they're posted tomorrow, I do know there are a couple of you that could still afford to see a teacher or two and see maybe if there's a little grace and mercy on their part. Track and field team rules, I'm going over to the next page, and back to Mrs. Mike.
Nice thing about track, as you can tell from our numbers, is that we don't make cuts. That's kind of unique to if you're out in basketball or maybe a different sport like that. As Mr. Ponce mentioned before, we have just a JV and a varsity, and those also fluctuate throughout the season. If you're on JV, you're not on JV for the season. If you're on varsity, you're not on varsity for the season. It changes daily. Our rules, the bold is pretty self-explanatory too, but I'm going to go over a couple key points. We value you being there on time every day. The only time that we'll take absences is those that are communicated to us beforehand, and we have a hierarchy of order where if it's for church or family or school, then those things come before track. And so if that's the excuse, it's church or family or school related, then we put those before track. School performance is important. Mr. Papa talked about that already. We have a more stringent grade policy than the athletic department or the WIAA. We are proud of that, and we hold our athletes to that. Representation obviously is extremely important. We don't tolerate any kind of foul language, and anything that you aren't supposed to be doing at school, you're not supposed to be doing on the track team either. We've gotten a lot of compliments on our team in the past, how they behave, how they handle themselves. In fact, I remember after the winning the conference meet last year with the boys, they immediately prayed, and that made such an impact on our conference. So we use those positive choices to represent our school well. And also what you do during the school day affects your track practice. So those things are listed in there as well. Showing respect for others, obviously a huge thing. It's great because we talked about how we value even those who never run a varsity meet in their whole career. And that's one thing that we love about track and field, is that those kids love it too, that they feel safe on the team and that they're appreciated on the team, and each member is just as valuable as the next member. And then finally, this sport is a tough sport. It requires a lot of effort and a lot of motivation and dedication each and every day. So effort is one of our rules that we put in our rule book.
Let me give you an example of the God Family School track thing so that you understand. One of the challenges some people have is spring break. And so many times in sports, the coaches tell you can't go on vacation. Family vacations are important, and we understand that some of you, they plan those for a long time. If you're going to be gone for Easter weeks, or spring break, I shouldn't say for Easter too. If you're going to be gone for spring break, we ask that you tell us. Your child will have no negative ramifications for being gone. What we expect is we'll give them some things to do when they're gone and talk about that, so when they come back, they can continue to do the good stuff they've been doing. But that's one of those places. If you're in town for spring break, get them here. First of all, you'll want them out of the house, because they'll drive you nuts because you're not used to that. And get them here so they can continue to train. We do some special things that week to continue. This year, the conference meets are during our spring break, so don't get it tough. So, but if kids miss for that, that's what they miss for, because family is more important. If you turn the page over, track and field practices. We'll get to the calendar in a little bit. The practices start Monday, March 9th. Make sure all your forms are in before that so that you're ready to go. If you would be a winter sport athlete, who's in there's very few people this affects, but if your season would end right butted up to that, you then can choose to take up to a week off. We do honor the fact that some of those kids are burned out and they need some time off, but most of our kids should be ready to go. Also, we do have an indoor facility. What we do, and I will post the schedules that you're going to get to on the website, but plan always to go outside. We do go outside a lot when the temperatures are cold because it's easier to run out there, it's easier to breathe and do all the other things. For some of the things, we'll still do them inside to practice that way, but we'll eventually get out there very early in the season. Again, Mr. Kalos talked about the lock thing. I'm big on that. I want those red locks down there, so if your child gets hurt in practice and I've got to go down and get to the bottom of their locker, I have the ability to get in there. I know where it is. For the boys in the locker room, you will all have your tape with your name up on top of it. I will assign all those before you come down the first day, so it'll be easy. For the boys who understand the downstairs locker room, we will, when you get downstairs, we'll be in the far section. We have the whole bank all the way up to the wall. And so you'll see that when we come. For the girls, we will choose a section to do the same thing. Okay, red locks, make sure you get those, put them on and lock them. okay? It's an important thing because we're not always down there alone in the locker room, and we got to make sure our stuff is taken care of. And now to clothing.
Clothing, you can read, but a couple things I want to point out. Mr. Hoff already mentioned that it could be any day that we go outside for practice, which is why it's essential to have both indoor and outdoor clothes, especially in indoor season. Once we hit outdoor season, we're outside every day. And you know, in April in Wisconsin, that's not exactly warm.
Right.
And then another unique item on there is swimsuit and towel. We have pool access throughout the season. Sometimes when we go in the pool, it's planned just that day of because of circumstances, injuries, things like that. So athletes should always have a swimsuit and towel here, regardless of if they think they're swimming or not. That should be a part of their practice gear. I think those are the main things. Gloves and mittens are a big one with me. Oh yeah, sorry. First, and before we hit the jewelry rule, the underlying bold asterisk message that I'm forgetting, we reflect our LHS dress code. Obviously, questionable messages on t-shirt, underwear, no showing cutoffs, ripped t-shirts. Shirts must be worn at all times. It's usually not warm enough to not wear a shirt anyway. And there's a new jewelry rule. Used to be totally no jewelry at all, no WIA. People got disqualified and all sorts of different things. Now they've loosened it up, and our personal Milwaukee Lutheran jewelry rule we decided on is you can wear studs in your ears, but nothing dangling, not even a hoop, because then you have to distinguish which hoops are too big and too small. So you can wear studs in your ears. Necklaces that are tight, so like a choker type necklace is okay, so nothing dangly. And then keep our wrists clear because of baton exchanges and different types of field events. We don't want anything on the wrist. So that is the new jewelry rule.
Yes, if you turn to the competition section, it will compete against many different schools in the area. We've tried to make a very competitive schedule. The end of the season will end with the JV conference meet for the JV kids. The varsity will then continue at the regional meet. Some of the JV kids may actually be asked to come to the regional meet if the performances would allow that. And eventually we do get to June. If you get that far, there is a state meet of judo lacrosse, which you saw a little bit of before. All non-varsity athletes are automatically JV, so your child is starting on the JV team automatically. One of the things we want to ensure parents of transportation-wise, we do transport to and from all of the JV meets. On occasion, the varsity will ask them to meet us there because of some things going on, whether it be school times or whatever. But we do transport, so for your young kids that don't drive, that kind of thing, unless your child is a freshman and makes the giant leap, we will arrange all those transportations even for them and make sure that they're taken care of. So make sure you know that. If you come and get your child from the meet, we ask that you sign them out and wait till the end of the meet, unless it's a special occasion. We'll talk about that. So that they can cheer on the other people that are there. But you can sign them out. Otherwise, we expect them on the bus. We want to know where they are, so we keep track and we take everyone home that we brought. There are some days when we excuse them to leave early. If you came up to me on a day of school and they had significant tests and stuff the next day, I'm not going to make them stay at the track meet until 9 o'clock. It's in the morning because of that. So make that communication. I want them to stay and watch all of their friends and support and do all that kind of thing. That's the goal. And at some meets, like for the varsity on Saturdays, we'll tell them they have to stick to the end. But with some of the meets, because of the fact of school nights, we understand that. Track and field meets sometimes can run a little bit long, although they don't here because we run really quality meets. They will be issued a uniform top and uniform bottom and a warm-up jacket. Please take care of those. Make sure they're brought back to us in good order. They are all numbered, so we know what we gave them. So if they switch with somebody, we'll know. Okay, so we keep pretty close track of that. So make sure that you know that. At the uniforms and warm-up jackets only worn at meets. I don't want to see those warm-up jackets coming to school on them like they're wearing something special. That's something when you represent the track team, we do at track. You don't wear that to school because at school you're a student. And it's different. So you don't want to make yourself anything more special or stand on anything else than being a student here in Milwaukee Lutheran. We do have team t-shirts. I'll talk about that later. We do like to look like a team, and every time we travel and do those kind of things so we take care of business. And now for clothing at meets.
I'm the clothing expert. At a meet, we like to be uniform. And we wear our uniforms as we remain uniform. So uniform top and bottom are on there, and usually when weather permits, that's mostly what kids wear, but a lot of times, like I mentioned before, Wisconsin's cold. So if we do have to wear something under our uniform, then we wear black tights on the bottom and a white shirt on top if it's necessary. One of the items on there says training shoes. There's lots of places where you can go. Mr. Tom's going to pass around a shoe.
No.
There's lots of places where you can go to get a good, solid training shoe for practice, and you want one that's going to last you the whole season. So you want to make this investment. One of the nice things about track and field is that there's not a lot of expenses, but if there is one expense, it's to invest in a good pair of shoes. So there's some places like Rhodesi's and West Dallas and Performance and Brookfield. Performance does a really great job with fitting you and watching your form, watching you run on a treadmill, picking out the best type of shoe for you. So that's really important. If you have any other questions on that, you can talk to me or Mr. Pomper or Mr. Kalis. And you'll see spikes mentioned at the bottom there. Don't let your child convince you that that's a requirement. They're optional, but they are encouraged for, especially varsity runners. There are some performance benefits with spikes. And same thing with specialty shoes for long jump, high jump, different things like that. Not required, just encouraged for those who are going to be competing at a higher level. I'd like to.
Real quick on the shoe thing, one of the things you picked up was the Performance Running Outfitters thing. If you would happen to go there, there's one in Brookfield, and the address is on there, or at Rhodesi's, which is down in West Dallas. Those are two professional, they're running stores. If you go there, you're not necessarily going to find cheap shoes. You might find it at some other store, but they, like she said, will fit them to your foot. There is a 15% discount if you tell them you're a member of the team. And so that's something that you want to look at. I have had great experience. I had a daughter who ran here who had shin issues. And when we went to Performance Running Outfitters for the first time, they did a shoe analysis on her. They had her run on a treadmill, videotaped it from behind, and saw there was motion. I actually saw it and slowed it down, and it was, you could see every time she struck, there was pronating. It was rolling. And if you think about that, she was a distance runner. She was doing that thousands and thousands of times every week. And that was causing the problem in her shin. And all they did was change shoes. They put her in a different shoe, which stopped that. So I actually saw it when she was running. All of a sudden it was striking and there was no roll. And the shin splints went away within a couple of weeks. And it was amazing to me. Now that's not the only way you're going to heal injury. But I can tell you, if you do the same motion over and over and over again, it's not something natural in the body. It's going to take a beating. So if you're going to invest in your child doing track and field, we're not asking you to buy fancy stuff. Buy a good pair of shoes, because that's the best way you can protect their body. Team clothing, they've got another sheet there. If you find the one that's got the clothing stuff on it. First of all, parents, hear this loud and clear. The only thing we ask you to buy is the team t-shirt. This is the team t-shirt. It's online, so it's a store. It's an online store. You can go there and buy that online. You can buy the size you want. I do have a medium large here you can try on if you want to at the end and see if that's something so that you can size already. Those are my son's too, so I ordered them already. That window on that thing I made short. So you got to go online down at the very bottom. There's a black box that tells you how to get in. There's a thing called the team store right in the middle of the page. When you click on that and type in my name with that code, you'll get into the team store, and it'll just be for Milwaukee Lutheran. And you can look at that stuff. All the rest of the stuff is extra. That's the stuff maybe that's birthday, or the kid bargains that he's going to clean his room for 2 months. That's how you get to that, or if they have extra money from whatever. But the team t-shirt, we would like you to get them. You can order stuff off of there too if you want to. I bought the backpack this year. It's on the back page. I bought the backpack and personalized it because I wanted that to carry my junk in. So mine says Coach Ponker on the back now, so it's personalized. There was a $5 charge for that beyond it. Some of the stuff doesn't look like, wow, we could get it cheaper and we could. This is really high quality stuff. And that's what I was impressed with. There are a lot of different kids already have it. So if you want to go shopping with your child, go online and look. Buy the t-shirt, please. And then look through the other stuff and see what you want. You do not need to buy that for practice. You can get a regular pair of gray sweats and black sweatpants and socks and the regular t-shirt, shorts. You don't need to buy all the fancy stuff. That's not track and field. But kids always say they want to have the extra stuff so they can wear it. Don't wear the warm-up top. Wear something you bought. Okay? And so all that stuff is what you could look at if you want to, because the kids always say they want it, that's why it's there. So your child should not tell you they need all this stuff. It's want. The only thing they need is the team t-shirt. Okay, so you've got that. That's the opportunity. If you have questions on it, ask me, please. They'll ship it here. The reason why I closed it off, it's closed off Thursday night at midnight. The reason why I closed it quick is because then we'll get the turnaround time, so the first week of track, that stuff's going to show up. And so that's what I wanted to happen. So the boxes will come and it'll have a bag with all of your child's stuff in it with their name on, and then I can just give it to them. Okay? And then we'll open the store back up one more time at the start of the season. So it's going to be open one more time for kids that weren't at this meeting and so on and so forth. So I will open it up one more time just so that it's ready to go. You can still get stuff. So parents, if you like the stuff, you can say, hey, I'd like that. So if you want to, you can do that. Now to the awards banquet.
The banquet's at the end of the year. We love to celebrate the accomplishments of the athletes. We love to have people come in front and recognize them. And it's a big part of our team, and it's a big, nice cap to the end of a great season. So we'd like everyone to attend. And how you get those letters and how you get your varsity letters and all that stuff, we'll let you know if you're getting close to getting a varsity letter. But you can see some of the other awards that are on there. The main thing to take away from this is that we have the right, I guess, to take away your letters or numerals or minor letters if you don't attend the banquet. And so if you have a written excuse and if you're looking ahead to that date, which is on your calendar already, when you say we have a wedding or something like that, then that's fine. But other than that, we would like everyone to show up for the banquet and to appreciate your children and also the other children on the team.
Volunteers. This can be you or your child. Okay, so when we talked about the Booster Club before and they said they need 6 hours from you, most of our parents have tried to do more than 6. I can call it a couple of you, there are a couple of people in the room who are either returning parents or whatever who have done much more than that for us. Here's the 3 ways you can serve. Number 1, you or your child could serve in home meets. We do run a number of them all the way to the middle of April. If you want to get down there and see the sweat and watch the sand fly, or see the shot put hit the ground and pick it up and roll it back, or help measure, you want to get down there and actually get involved with the kids, please do, because we want you there. And so I need help running meets. The more parents we have a reputation in the Milwaukee area for running some of the most quality track and field meets here. We have teams begging to get into our stuff because they know how well it's run, and that's a lot because of our volunteer parents. So if you really want to find out what track and field looks like right up close, we would love you to come down. We need people all the way from raking stuff to be able to help line the people up after the 2 mile and be able to get their names when they can't breathe. We've got all kinds of jobs. And so if you're willing to come and do that, we'd love that. And you can do your Booster Club volunteer hours that way through your 6 hours. If you want to serve in the Booster Club concession stand, get in there now. Go in for the wrestling tournament. Go in for one of the basketball games left in the season. Serve those. We do have them during track meets, but the problem is you don't want to be in there during track meets unless your child's not running, because you're going to want to be in there watching. And so that's one of the things we want to encourage. The third one is a new thing. A club volleyball tournament. Mr. Stockstad's running a club volleyball tournament March 21 and 22. He's had trouble with the Booster Club getting all the volunteers that they needed, so he asked if the track and field team would just run the concession stand for him that day. We then get the track and field program and some things I'll talk to kids about that maybe individually allow you to do some things without offsetting the cost of the t-shirt, which you'll see if you volunteer to work. And so what we're looking for is you and your children to get involved in that. I'll have all kinds of sign-up stuff come out after the team settles, and we start talking about that. But I think a really exciting way for us to do some fellowship together and also earn some money and buy some new equipment too. There's some equipment things that we've got in our